And as we were just mentioning, as he awaits possible charges in Georgia, which could happen this week, Trump is already testing the limits of a new protective order put in place in the federal election interference case against him. This is the one, of course, playing out in Washington, D.C. Now, in court on Friday, Judge Tanya Chutkan ruled that going forward, Trump's lawyers must review any notes he takes while looking at sensitive materials to make sure he is not copying down personal information about witnesses. She also prohibited him from having a phone out while reviewing those materials for the same reason. Prosecutors requested the order after Trump started attacking potential witnesses, special counsel Jack Smith, and even the judge herself on social media. On Friday, Judge Chutkan warned the former president's lawyers that, quote, while he has a First Amendment right to free speech, that right is not absolute. She added that the more a party makes inflammatory statements about this case, the greater the urgency will be that we proceed to trial quickly. Listen to those words. Despite Trump's lawyers insisting that he would, quote, scrupulously abide by the conditions of his release, it didn't take long for the former president to seemingly start breaking the rules. On social media last night, in addition to calling Jack Smith a deranged, low-life prosecutor, the former president went after the judge herself, sharing a post with her photo and a caption falsely claiming that she, quote, openly admitted she's running election interference against Trump. Later on, he wrote that she was, quote, very biased and unfair and that she obviously wanted him behind bars. Last night, attorney Neil Katyal posted, quote, it would not surprise me if Judge Chutkan called a hearing with Trump's presence given his new remarks. And Joe, I mean, isn't he pushing this? Wouldn't it be in his best interest to push this to the limit?
No, it's not in his best interest to push it.
In some ways,
see, here's the thing.
I think it does.
Here's the thing. We are all so accustomed to Donald Trump saying outrageous things and getting away with it, just like we were accustomed to that guy that was lying about Sandy Hook parents, saying really outrageous things about everybody. And then he got $1 billion settlement. Tucker Carlson on Fox News saying the most outrageous things about everybody on and off camera. And we're like, oh, well, I guess you just get away with that now. No, we didn't. Because why? Because the great leveling wind is the judicial system. It's the third branch of government. Donald Trump, again, thinks that he's fighting a fight against the New York Post in 1977. He thinks he's fighting against Marco Rubio in the 2016 primary election. He thinks he's fighting against clueless people like you and me on news that they can set up as you know, set up straw men and knock them down. I guarantee you. You can say what you want about a lowly country lawyer that happens to fall off a turnip truck outside of 30 Rock and get a TV show for a couple of years. You cannot do that to a federal judge, especially a federal judge who is unanimously selected by the United States Senate. I think a 98-0 confirmation, and perhaps one of the most respected judges in that district. So I want to bring in Chuck here, you may disagree with me, Chuck, but where I come from, you say you start lying about federal judges and posting their pictures. And by the way, where I come from, some bad things have happened in Alabama to federal judges in the past. They've been blown up when they've tried to open packages in their home. Federal judges have, and federal judges don't take these sort of accusations and threats lightly. So I'm curious what may lie ahead for Mr. Trump, and given your years of experience in the federal court, what would happen to any other criminal defendant that behaved this way and thumbed his nose at a federal judge's ruling?
Yeah, well, first, Joe, let me tell you what lies ahead for Mr. Trump. I mean, the road we're on is obviously bumpy and messy, but the road we're on leads to a federal courthouse. and a trial and a jury where Mr. Trump does not control the rules or the venue. That's where it leads. And whether he, it's fine if he pleads guilty, but from the perspective of a prosecutor, it's also fine if he doesn't. I probably tried 50 or 60 federal criminal cases because 50 or 60 some odd defendants didn't want to plead guilty. Fine. Okay, so be it. We get paid either way. We go to trial. So even though it's going to be ugly and messy, and even though he's going to push the limits, he's going to end up in a federal courtroom in trial pursuant to the rules of law and evidence that he doesn't control. That's where this goes. Now, the hard thing for the judge, really for everyone who cares about the fair administration of justice between now and then, is that it's going to be hard to keep this guy sort of in line. We get that. The judge understands that. There are graduated punishments that she can impose. She can order a gag rule. She can hold him in contempt. If it gets really bad, by the way, federal prosecutors have a solution. Remember, they superseded charges in the Southern District of Florida. If he's going after witnesses, harassing, intimidating them, they can charge him with that, too, and supersede the indictment in Washington, D.C. One way or the other, Joe, this leads to a federal courtroom and a venue he does not control.